What's good, YouTube? It's your main man, AB the Hero, back again with another video. Today's video, we're watching this clip from Club Shay Shay, in which Shannon Sharpe and Matt Barnes talk about LaVar Ball. They tip their hats and give him some salutes, a little bit of criticism, a little bit of critique. But I think it's ultimately a good video for us to talk about. Let's get into it.
Please, AB the Hero, back at it, baby.
All right, so first things first, I love talking about these topics in which you have grown men get into conversations about fatherhood. Now, with that, I want to point out something from the channel that I just posted a couple days ago. It was this clip, this thing on my community tab where me and my son have entered, or we're raising money for this local program called Read Up, and what you have to do is a karaoke competition. So in order to participate, you have to raise X amount of dollars, and then there's a leaderboard and all of this stuff. So we're doing that, right? And it's for a really good cause. And if you can, hit the link in the description or whatnot to support. But we're gonna get back into the video. We have this clip. It's Shannon Sharpe, Matt Barnes talking about LaVar Ball and comparing styles on how you get your child to those levels. Let's do it.
LaVar Ball, he said all my boys are gonna play in the NBA. LiAngelo just signed with a non-guaranteed contract with the Charlotte Hornets. How is your style, your coaching style? Because he coached all of his kids. How's your style as a parent, as a coach, similar or different than that with LaVar and his boys?
I think I think there's a misconception that people don't think I like him or appreciate what he did. And come on, man, a black father to get his kids to where he even got them to even have a chance. I commend him for it. When I started critiquing him, it was because I felt like he let these lights get to him.
Right.
You know what I mean? He became the star instead of his sons that were the actual up and coming stars. So I never critiqued his fathering or anything like that. I think, what he did was a hell of a job. Where are we different?
All right, so I feel like I don't remember it like that. I do remember him throwing some sauce in it though, right? And critiquing LaVar, began to start critiquing the journey that Melo and them was on. And I think that's where some of the stuff that we talked about on this channel came in, is because he was making it seem like the path that they were taking was ultimately going to lead to their doom. Right. So acknowledging that there's some talent there, but you're missing or messing these kids up is where he began to critique him. So it really wasn't any critiques that I remember of him being like, yo, the way you're branding them is off or such and such. It was more like, hey, the things that you're doing is going to make your kids fail.
Probably not much. I mean, I really don't know a ton about him. From what I see, he yells, I yell. He had 3 very talented boys, and now all 3 of them had a chance to play in the NBA, which is great. But to me, the most important thing was he was there.
Right.
And to me, that is the most important thing. Like, my whole thing is, I'm always like, I had my fun in the sun. I had my run, and my whole thing is to play the background on this journey for my kids. Obviously, I have 2 13-year-old boys now, and then I have a 3-year-old who's a monster coming down the pipeline. So. My whole thing is,
boy said 3-year-old monster.
He might be a football player though, man.
And I'm good. Be a DN. I'm not tripping. I'm okay with that. But my whole thing is, like I said, I got my chance to see what these lights are like, and made the most of my situation. So my whole thing is, hopefully I can be just like him from a standpoint of I'm able to help my kids get there. But I would just be doing it more from a, push them in front and put me in the back.
And you know what? I agree. I understand his perspective on that, right? And I think that oftentimes one of the big critiques that people have with LaVar, especially folks from, that caliber of ex-NBA players or people who have been in the spotlight, and they reflect on their parents' role in their own situation, right? And they played the background and they let us do it. And then so for him, it's like, yo, I'm just going to play the background. I already did the spotlight. I'm going to let my kids have it, right? And I think that sometimes, what did they say, fathers or Lavar got criticized for living vicariously through his children, right? And to me, I think that sometimes people perceive that as a negative thing, but I don't think that's a negative, right? Because I'm sure you have these situations where guys like a Matt Barnes make it, and they provide this lifestyle for their parents, right? So you have somebody who single mother, and their ultimate goal is, I want to make sure my mother's straight. She got a house, she got a such and such, and she's going to live a lifestyle that she could never have. To me, that's in the same vein of vicariously living through your children. Now, it's something to be said when you orchestrate a situation in which you can have that outcome. Whereas a lot of times you have households who will just push and support their kids, and if you make it and you give back, that's great. But not oftentimes do you see people saying like, look, I'm gonna put the play together for you, I'm gonna sacrifice here, I'm gonna make sure this is here, I'm gonna make sure this is there, and once you get there, look out. Once you get there, bring your brothers and your family with you. You know what I'm saying? Oftentimes, rarely can do people have the foresight to put that in the play and see it all the way through. And so I get what he's saying, but I think that that's a slight difference.
Are you going to allow? Do they want to play football? Do they want to do anything other than play basketball?
So me and their mom used to go at it because I'm a football player first. I was a better football player than I was basketball player. So I always wanted the boys to play. And then we started watching all these, with
About the
CTE
concussions,
and all that
CTE, yeah.
kind. So obviously it scared her, and she was from the understanding they're not playing tackle. So with her and I pick and choose my battles that I'm going to argue for, and that wasn't one of them. So, but I was also someone that didn't play tackle until high school.
Right.
I played flag up through 8th grade. So, the boys were playing before the pandemic hit, and then they never got back into it. But
I think that's something I'm seeing too, because I played football all the way through college, but and I probably played tackle myself in elementary school, middle school, and then before high school and all of that stuff. But with my son, I'm like, bro, we'll play flag, and then once you get to high school, then we'll suit up and put the pads on and all that stuff. Or maybe even middle school, 7th, 8th grade, we might lock in. But there's so much stuff happening right now with the concussions and understanding of the game, and then some of the things that I even seen while I was playing that made me be like, bro, we'll wait on it.
this is more for kind of my 3-year-old. We'll just have to kind of see when it crosses, when we cross that bridge when it gets here, because I love football is my favorite sport. I'm a Sunday ticket fanatic. Red zone. I'm on my little love sack with my joint and my drink, and no one bother me. So I love football. I'm a huge fan of it. So this will probably be more for my 3-year-old when the time comes, and we're just gonna have to see.
You know what to do. Hit the subscribe button.
Hit the subscribe button. All right. So that's an interesting little take from Matt Barnes. I do think that I feel like this is the second time that we talked about this, where he has kind of altered his take a bit on his situation with LaVar Ball, and I'm glad to see that most people are starting to really come around and acknowledge that we got to witness something really, really dope, and it was more so an American story, like it's the American dream scenario, and not so much the American nightmare that sometimes the media tried to paint it out to be. But Shemaine Man, AB the Hero, we are back. Holla at me. Peace.
Be the hero. No, not peace. Plus one, triple B's. We out.